There you go. Thank you. Outreach co-chairs. So we got Steve here tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, and John talked to me earlier in the day. He had a conflict and thought he might get here later. So what I would recommend maybe is that I could talk a little bit about tomorrow's event and maybe for 10 minutes or less. And in that length of time, John might be back. And if he's not, I'm just prepared to talk about the rest of the outreach.
Okay. Let me pull that up in the Stella while you're going to talk about it. Okay.
Oh, good. I appreciate that.
Apologies. This is taking a moment. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Well, it doesn't take much more than just a casual drive around town to see that this is becoming quite a metropolis. A lot of population growth, a lot of traffic. And it seems to John and I that every month we field more and more requests for information about telescopes, purchasing a telescope, you name it, everything astronomical. And we have a core of people who have helped with outreach and been so good and so faithful, but we're just in a position where we're going to need some help. Already, for instance, in June, there are 2 different groups who have requested astronomy star parties for the same night. And so the reason I say all of this, because the reason for this event, this field school, was kind of related to the type of field school that has been part of the Nebraska Star Party. So the idea is during the day, when you can really see the parts of your telescope, let's try to just figure out some really basic things, get your finder scope lined up. And if you have any questions at all about collimation, see if you can address those. And then try to find something simple in the night sky, or in this case, the daytime sky. So I just didn't pick tomorrow out of a hat. I wanted to find a day, a Saturday. I wanted to find a Saturday between about 9 and 10 o'clock, where a 3rd quarter moon was at a reasonable angle in the sky to be seen. Sounds like that could be lots of different dates. But I found one, and only one, on a Saturday from 9 to 10 o'clock, where the 3rd quarter moon would be visible at all. I could certainly found days when the 3rd quarter moon was visible, if you didn't mind coming at 6 in the morning or some other ghastly hour. So that was the reason for picking the 5th of June, because it would be something to look at. I thought it would be a good idea to have something to look at rather than to say, well, let's show up with our scopes and make sure our finder scope is lined up. And then what will we do with the other 50 minutes in an hour? So the idea is for people maybe who have telescopes, especially telescopes that might be in a closet someplace, gosh, let's try to get them out. Let's try to use them a little bit. And we're going to have a friendly time meeting to get this done. There'll be some experienced people and there'll be some people who are beginners, but we were all beginners once. So the idea is starting about 9 o'clock, distributed along a 300-foot line that I will carefully make sure is as close to being on a meridian as possible. A line of longitude. So because of that, of course, if I can be fairly assured that along that 300 feet that the longitude is the same anywhere along that line, then of course, you know that's a north-south line. So tomorrow morning, I'll be up at 5. I'll get some Krispy Kreme planetary nebulae to have to pass out for the early comers. And I'm going to establish the line and wait for people to show up. And so you can put your telescope along the line, be assured that it's a north-south line, plenty of targets to look at to make sure your finder scope is really truly pointed at what the telescope is looking at. And then when you're done with that, find the moon. Look at the moon a little bit and observe it. So those are things for beginners or intermediate skill levels. I'd say to find Jupiter in the daytime takes some effort. And so there's a little plum for people who are experienced, because at that time, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Jupiter will be available to be seen. And so that's the morning from 9 o'clock till about 11. We'd also like to maybe take a little bit of a tour of telescopes. It seems to me every time I see someone with a telescope set up, I look at it and think, oh, wow, that's a good idea. And so there's another good positive thing to look at how people set up their telescopes, keeping an eye open for improvements that you might apply to your own setup. So that was the original idea. And now you know why I picked the date. So it's tomorrow, 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. John, you want to scroll this document down for me a little? Yeah, keep going. There's information there, but you can read that in the Stella. A little bit more, John, so they can see the picture. Yeah, right there. So what you're looking at, clear in at the bottom, center bottom, is the playground at Zarinsky. So this is not going to be set up where we usually set up on the soccer field. It's going to be set up in the driving loop. And the idea would be that you would drive around, you'll see a table kind of in the middle of that red line that it's obvious. You stop, you put your blinkers on, and offload your equipment about where you'd like to be on that line, more or less, and park. You can see adjacent parking there. And then there'll be people there to watch your equipment carefully. So then that's not a very long drag. I think that's probably 30 feet, maybe. So then you can put your equipment along the line, which I will have marked. So you'll be able to know that it's truly a north-south line. And then you can proceed from there. So how about questions? Do you have any questions about the field day?
Steve, coming in from Fremont, how many telescopes do you think you're going to have out there? I mean,
well,
I'm wondering if I should bring the loaner that I have.
The line is 300 feet long. And what I'm going to do is to put a little flag, like a surveying flag, about every 2.5 steps. So along the 300-foot line, I think I can get about 30, 35 people. But it's very, very easy to make a parallel line quickly. And so I'm not too worried about that. And I'm thinking that if there were 35 people who came, I would be pleased. But it may be that there are just a few. I hope that's not the case, but it might be.
Well, I know Cindy and I were planning on coming in. I mean, this is our
Good
opportunity for us to meet everybody.
Absolutely. That's the other part of it.
But and we also bought that parallelogram that John was selling.
Sure.
So we have that with our binoculars. So we can bring that, I guess. I'll just have it loaded up from tonight anyway, so I'll just bring it.
Sure. That sounds perfect. Any other questions about the field day?
Oh, I can say something.
Good.
I think it's a great opportunity for everybody to get together. You know, it's been a long time. If you're not feeling well, you don't have to come. We are going to be spaced apart. It's going to be outside. I think that's going to be a good advantage for all of us. And I have several different types of scopes, and I'm trying to decide which one to bring. I think I'm going to bring the one that can be collimated easily, but also I might try to do a solar filter on mine. And I'm going to see if I can get a view of the sun, because I want to try one of my cameras, see if I can project it.
John, in that respect, I think another real advantage here is there's going to be a variety of equipment, a variety of telescopes. And I know that Jeff Purcell indicated that he has a solar scope that he's going to bring. So to all of you, if you've wondered about solar scopes or about imaging the sun, there will be some equipment there for you to look at. And so I hope you take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. I will be bringing some water as well. So
yes. Yeah, we have.
If you forgot to bring some, we should have some.
Yep. I checked out there. There are no sprinklers, so we're not going to be surprised. It's far enough into the season, so the restrooms are all operational and are fairly clean. So that part's all easy.
I'm not sure if we're going to have any insect issues. What do you think, Steve?
I kind of doubt it. I've got some spray, and that's the only part of the taller grass that bothers me. I think probably maybe the grass is 4 inches tall.
Well, we should mention that bug spray and optics do not go together at all.
But the wind is going to be up a little bit in the direction clear. So we'll step away perpendicular from the direction. And if you need to get sprayed, we'll spray you up.
I don't think you're going to need that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You would need to check later for ticks. And the spray won't save you from ticks.
I spray around the ankles and on my socks before I put my socks on, and that helps for ticks.
Depends on what you use for a spray.
I always use 100% DEET. That's why I spray my pants and my socks and shoes. So,
Are there any other questions about the field day?
Steve, have you shared it on social media?
I have not, Kim.
Okay, I just wanted.
It's a OAS member event, so we were worried about the public.
It's a member event. Okay, so I should put it on social media.
Yes, right. I should have said that up front, and I've said that a couple of times, but I think the printed copy on the Stella says that this is an event just for us, just for the OAS.
Help us get back in the swing of things and practice.
The other thing I should say, I know there are all kinds of things going on, but the nice part about the 5th was I don't have to compete with the College World Series. I don't have to compete with Warren Buffett. I don't have to compete with Husker Sports. I don't have to compete even with the swimming trials. I don't think. Are they going on right now?
They started today, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been working them.
Okay. Well,
but it's not till 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
They're having the Taste of Omaha over at Delwood, so I don't know how that's going to affect anybody.
It doesn't start till 11 in the morning.
Yeah, there's nothing between 9 and 11. It's pretty clear. The weather's going to be very good. Clear sky. I think a lot of things have come together. The only thing that hasn't come together that we need are participants.
Elkhorn Days is going on.
What's going on?
Elkhorn Days.
Oh, okay.
So the parade is at like 10.
Okay, well, John Larson, do you want me to do the other things? The star parties so far proposed? I'll do that. Okay.
Let me bring up the I will say this is a big list, folks.
Yeah. Okay, good. I can just talk to it. So we've talked about number one, and we're not going to have to worry about a rain date. So that's good. Number two, the Lake Zarinsky InReach. This is going to look like a typical second Tuesday of the month meeting. But what makes it different is it's just for ourselves. This is not a public star party. That's not the intent. The intent is to have the first, since the pandemic changed so many things, the first returning opportunity for us to assemble our telescopes in the dark, not figuratively, but bring the telescopes and their owners together in the dark and have a star party for us, for the OAS. So that's the intent for number two, June 8th. And it's going to be in the usual place on the soccer field. The third one, June 12th at Lake Cunningham, is a little bit up in the air right now. I talked to John about this. He wasn't sure. He was going to check on it. We have a little bit of time to find out exactly what is going to happen between a little past noon and 4 p.m. at Lake Cunningham. I can't say much more about that right now, except for this. Several of these events, several of these requests for an astronomy experience involve large groups of people, maybe 60 people, maybe 100 people. We've been able to handle things like that in the past, but you can imagine it takes 6 or more telescopes, maybe 8 telescopes if it's going to be 100. And so we are at a spot where our interest has grown, the population has grown, the demand for astronomy information has grown, but we have still the same people who have done this. So I want to say to you again, John would say this if you were here, you do not have to be an expert with a telescope. I can remember when I started doing this, and it hasn't been that many years ago, I had a small telescope mounted on a camera tripod. That was it. So I think if you can recognize a few star patterns, pick a star that you want to look at with whatever you have to observe, that's it. You can become an expert about one thing by doing a little reading. You do not have to be able to show off the entire universe on a given night. And I think that this possibility on June 12th really talks to that. I mean, there could be a big bunch of people here that want
Steve?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know about this, you know. I know
Oh.
specifically what goes on there.
Well, then tell us.
Okay, this is Cub Scouts day camp. The last time I knew, they had a very small group signed up. This will not be a large number of people.
Okay.
This will be, a couple dozen kids maybe.
Okay.
And there's either 3 or 4 45-minute sessions starting at 12:45, I think it is, 12 o'clock. I can't remember, 12 o'clock. No, 12:30, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Until 4 o'clock. There every 45 minutes will be another group, but those should be small groups. What I said I would do with that is teach them about telescopes enough to know how to focus a telescope, maybe a very brief about showing them a reflector or refractor, what the differences are. Let them look through a telescope and focus it. And if the sun is available, maybe look at the sun. And also I was going to set up a model of the solar system.
Oh, like
So
walking it in the
solar
field?
system walk. Yes.
Yeah.
Along the road, probably. Be along the edge of the road.
So when you talk about using the telescope and focusing on something, you would, of course, have them look at a terrestrial object.
Oh, yes, you could put something on a tree.
Okay.
A moon on a tree, or let somebody go down and sit in a chair next to the tree and they'll focus on them.
That's more information than John shared with me this morning.
Well, I'm the one that's taking care of this.
Okay.
Now,
I'm
Mike, do
not
you
sure.
have everything for that solar system walk?
I do, but if there's something there at the university, I'm interested.
Okay, because I've got like big orange cones and sticks with like
The planets.
little poster signs. Yeah, laminated stuff.
Yeah, I'd be glad to see what you have.
Okay,
How would I do that?
we'll set up a time.
Okay, I have your contact information.
Mhm. I bet you do.
So I guess, Mike, you've been running this and you need assistance because
I have both knees replaced and I
Yeah.
can't walk very far. But I would only do, if I did the walk with them, I'd only go as far as maybe Jupiter.
Yeah.
And they would be able to see where the others are. And if they want to go over there and look and see what the sign says, that's fine.
so we're going to measure that in like 3 AU, 3
Uh,
astronomical units.
It's 1 inch equals 100,000 miles. It's a third of the mile long.
You want me to sing if I
But-
could walk 500?
Yeah. But the first few are not that far apart.
Yeah.
They start to spread out when you go into Saturn and so on.
Okay, so here and with these other events that are listed, here is another dilemma that Zooming has provided. When we were meeting face to face, what John would do was describe these and circulate sheets where you could sign up if you were willing to help. And then he'd collect the sheets at the end of the meeting and then contact people and try to make sure that whatever the event was, that there were really enough people to satisfy the people who were holding the event. Well, tell me how we're going to do that exactly.
I could
Set a
have I
poll?
could put a form together for the information, or we could just say we can put people's names in the chat.
That might
Or I
be
could-
the easiest, is to have everybody put their name in the chat and then save the chat and print it out that way.
Yeah, it's should be part of the recording, but I'll save it as well. But they should probably we've normally done the sign up sheets as here's this sign up sheet for this event. Here's the sign up sheet for this event.
Right.
So the Lake Cunningham thing is during the day, so that's not a nighttime event. And those are 45 minutes each. That, if you know how to focus a telescope, you're certified for that,
Right.
right? If you know where all the planets in the solar system are, you're certified for that too, right? So that's a good opportunity to learn outreach with a group of kids without having to be worrying about operating the scope at night and all those kind of worries. You're getting comfortable with doing it, I think.
John, as we speak here, Mike Moterson was kindly offered to help. So what we need to do is, and there may be others, Mike just chatted me. So how we find out or how we communicate precisely what it is we're interested in doing is something that needs to be fleshed out. And
Okay, I'll try to have something later in the meeting that people could,
okay,
they want a form or they can put it in chat, I guess.
all right.
But
Look at 5 and 6 right quick. So June 18th, here are two groups. We have Mahoney State Park, and they have kind of a gentleman's agreement with us, at least with the NSP people, to offer a star party, I think once a month. So here's the first opportunity on June 18th, Friday, to have the Omaha Astronomical Society offer a typical star party starting at 8:30 in the usual spot, kind of by the miniature driving course, the golf driving course. But unfortunately, here is a group who wants to have a star party at the Schramm, what am I trying to say here? Schramm Park, not at the 4-H extension service. That the 4-H extension site is closed.
I thought that Schramm took it over.
They did take it over, but my understanding is that they're going to try to have the star party down by the aquarium. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
But what the point that I'm trying to make is, can we do 2 events the same night? Well, I think we can with a little help if we have some more people who would be willing to help out. I have told John.
Yeah, Steve, we've done it
Yeah, we get-
before.
We get some scope volunteers, we can do it.
Yeah, I think so too. But besides the people who have done a lot of this, we are really looking for some help from people who have not done much of it, to try to give them the confidence to know that they can do it, because it's not such a big job. It really, you do not have to have intimate knowledge of every bright object in the universe.
Can I comment about how green I was doing my first outreach?
Yeah.
I of course was listening to how other people were doing it, and I was just picking up an object. Now, I would say don't be afraid of looking at the same object as somebody else, because that's a great comparison between different scopes and different power and different things. It's giving that interaction, because if there's a long line behind somebody else's scope, you can show the same object if you have a shorter line, sometimes quicker, because you might have a more accessible scope than other individuals, right? From a height, or they don't have to walk up a ladder or something like that. And even if we've done situations where we've even taken smaller scopes and putting them on like a milk crate on the ground and letting the kids just operate them after we put it on a target, because then they don't have to climb up steps or anything. They just stand right in front of it and over the top of it and use it. But wouldn't it be correct to say that with NSP's Mahoney Star Party that Prairie Astronomy will also be assisting in that?
I think that they have.
Supposedly.
I don't think it's always worked out that way in reality, but
Yes, they are welcome to come as well and bring their scopes.
yes.
Okay.
It's really open for any astronomers who want to come to show the public the skies.
And there are pamphlets at the lodge that advertise this event. That's how the word gets out at the location.
Can we contact PAC and request that they double down their efforts to helping on that?
Sure, we can.
Eric.
It's just a
Eric usually
matter
does
of,
that.
contacting Eric or John and having them in turn contact the leaders of PAC.
Okay.
We usually have enough astronomers in the past. There have always been 8, 12, 14 of us that go out to the Mahoney Star Party. And we have had events, mostly coinciding with the safari park across the road from Mahoney. And just half of us go one place and half of us go the other.
Yes.
And it's not been a big deal. So the thing on June 18th, it's just a matter of being sure that we've got some coverage in both places.
And with it being that close to solstice, many families may clear out by 10:15 or 10:30 just because they want to get their kids to bed. It just kind of depends. It varies.
Yeah, they do. And it thins out later at night.
Yeah.
But lots of us stay till at least, Clayton and I
11,
usually stay
11:30.
till about 11:30 or midnight. And there's almost always a few who wait. The best view comes in after it really gets dark. I lots of times encourage people to stay. Wait, don't leave. Our best stuff happens when it's really dark.
John, this is getting to be out, and I'm not sure if I'm taking time away from a program tonight, so you'll have to advise me about that.
I don't think you need to worry about the program.
Okay.
So I know we've talked about, can we go back to Camp Cedars real quick? Because Mike has some information on that as well.
Sure. And I think I glossed over that and didn't mean to.
So suggest if you could ask people to put their name and email in the chat.
Well,
and grab all those names and emails, give them to John, put them on that master email list.
So you want me to say something about Camp Cedars?
Kim, I would rather take the names because we should have the emails already in the membership list. I would hope. I'm just not sure about publishing everyone's email address publicly in the chat. I'm not sure everybody want to do that.
We have email addresses.
Yeah. Mike, can you briefly talk about Camp Cedars, please?
Camp Cedars is a Boy Scout camp, or they call it Scouts BSA now, since they have boys and girls. And I've done a night sky program out there for a long time. And what I've always done is a slideshow and a talk right after dinner about 7:30, and then set telescopes outside about 8:30. It doesn't get dark really until 9 or after that. But of course, if the moon is out or planets, you'll see it a little bit earlier. But anyway, I set up a bunch of telescopes outside the dining hall at Camp Cedars. And Camp Cedars is about, well, from the north edge of town, it's about 35 miles out there, from Lake Cunningham, where I live. And then the number of people that are there, it varies, that some nights I have mostly the people that are interested in astronomy, because the Scouts have a lot of other things they could do that night. In the evening, besides the attend the star night sky program. So sometimes you have 50 and sometimes you have 10 and sometimes you got 100. Never know. They always behave well. And so we're going to do it on Monday or Tuesday. I said the first clear night would be the time to do it, either Monday or Tuesday for the choices.
So Mike, this is south of Fremont, isn't it? A little bit?
It is just a little bit south of Fremont, yeah.
Yes.
Or maybe down the west side, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's over by Cedar Bluffs, just south
Very
of
close.
Cedar Bluffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, very close to Cedar Bluffs.
Okay, well, number 7 is the Lauritzen Garden. That's a small number of people. People pay to take a look through our telescopes. They don't pay us. This is a Lauritzen Garden event. And it's a little specialized because you just can't walk to the site. There is a small vehicle that kind of leads a parade of astronomers' cars with their equipment back to the observing spot, which is at the Rose Garden, and then observe a typical amount of time. And then the little vehicle, the tram, serves as a pilot vehicle, kind of leads everyone back when they're ready to leave. The workday, I'm not sure about. John, you want to say something about the workday?
Yep, it's we're going to be doing some cleanup at Astro Park. That's going to be on a Saturday at 9 a.m. Try to clean out some of the long grass behind the buildings, and the entrance needs to be trimmed out too, because when you get out of your car, you're dumped right into the tall weeds. So we're hoping to do some clearing up on that.
Okay, and obviously number 9, the Nebraska Star Party.
Yep.
I think that's not canceled. It is going to happen in a traditional way, as near as I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's outreach.
Thank you. Telescope and binocular loan chair, Stafford.
Well, hasn't been too much excitement this past month. As Joe Ulick alluded to earlier, the 8-inch came in at the beginning of the month and went out just about as quickly. So that's the only item that's changed in here. On a somewhat related, but not totally to the loaning scopes. When I was rebuilding the base, John Johnson donated some possibly useful scope building materials. He gave me some Kydex and some laminate. I've not used them, but if anyone in the club would like to, they're available for a really good price, free. There's a couple of items too off of the Shane 10-inch scope that might be of value to somebody too. There's some mounting rings and a dovetail and some fairly substantial size pipe clamps that help keep those rings in place on a 10-inch optical tube. And then lastly, I have a length of 8-inch inside diameter by about 6-foot long sonotube. So if there's any interest out there, give me a yell. Now that's it.
Thank you, Stafford. Oh, folks. Do you remember we do not have a program chair? We've not had a chance to meet as a committee. And I want to take this opportunity to talk about programs and programming. Our organization is made up of all of us individuals. And I think if we can all come together and work towards the goal of a good organization, a positive organization with great outreach and opportunity, that we should also have a program that feeds information to our membership. And without having a program chair, we are kind of missing out on those opportunities. If it was an appointed position, I'd probably just go so-and-so and point it out to them. But we don't, this is an elected position. And if we could have somebody volunteer to be elected, or maybe we nominate someone to be a program chair, it's not as much work as you think it would be. But please think about giving back to our club and organization with an opportunity to expand the minds of our members by helping us with programming. And there's my blurb. Oh, Steve, you already did your tool time. Yes, John Macy has a question. Field day is tomorrow. Yes. Let's see. We will go into a break. Let's do a break for 10 minutes. And what we're going to do is there's going to be some breakout rooms for people to participate in discussions. So hope you enjoy the breakout portion of our meeting.
Do you want me to assign them automatically, manually, or let the participants choose?
Automatically.
Okay.
Automagically would be another way.
It is magic. Yeah. Here we go.
Thank you.
Great.
Having a break first, or are we going right to rooms?
We're gonna have a we'll do the break and then we'll have rooms.
Good.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we know what we're going to talk about in the rooms? Will there be
I'll come up with something in the break. I'll come up with something in the break.
Each
well
room can
planned, no
decide
doubt.
their moderator.
Yeah, who reports back?
Yeah.
Hey, I know, I've got an idea. We could discuss, give 3 examples, define the universe and give 3 examples. That's what I'm trying to say. Define the universe and give 3 examples. I always used to tell my students I would give them that as their final exam. Define the universe and give 3 examples.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Okay.
Cleat, you're laughing.
I'll do it. Ah!
Got it. We figured it out.
That's great. Well, welcome back, everybody. All right, let's try to blow through the business meeting here. All right. Secretary's report. I need to pull up the Stella for the meeting minutes. You can all see that, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Yes.
Our meeting was on May 7th. It was virtual, no guests. We talked about the usual things. The SAC Museum, we had all those events. NSP, Workday. No awards. Sonali observing report. Lunar eclipse on May 26th. Aw. Couple scopes went in and out. Tool time. Steve talked about some modifications to his telescope and about the upcoming field school tomorrow. Woohoo! I mentioned the program chair opening. John Johnson gave a program on eyepieces. Minutes were read. We had the treasurer's report. We received Astro League due invoice, which will be due at the end of June. Let's see. We did get an election ballot we're going to do tonight. So Vice President Rodney wasn't able to attend, so we gave it a report. Looked good for now. Lighthouse we'll find out shortly about that. We got the ground school coming up. Alcon's going to be virtual. And we talked about door prize and voted for a door prize. And a motion to close business meeting made with Tom and Cleet. All right. All those favors of me in the abbreviated version of the minutes, unmute and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Oh, wait a minute. I did not ask for a motion to accept the minutes. I apologize. That's bad form on my part.
I think that's assumed.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that why you
So-
raised your hand again, Steve?
There's a motion or assumed it's bad form.
Cleet
Yeah.
said it first, so he prayed the motion.
I second it. This is Tom.
Tom missed seconds.
We already voted.
He voted. Thank you.
Flip flop it in the notes.
All right, and I need to go back to my other window for the treasurer's report.
Well, we do have 780.36 total income, but that came from $228.79 in dues, $500 cash donation, $30 rent from a building at Astro Park, and $21.57 from Smile Amazon. And then in expenditures, $47.48 for the lighthouse service at Astro Park. Sent $100 to International Dark Sky Association for our membership for the year, for a total of $147.48. And the balance is now $15,046.14. Do have the invoice for dues from Astro League, which will be paid close to the 30th. It's due on the 30th, and I usually do it a few days before that. It's done well in time. And then that's used. They get the membership list too. I think it's this month. It's every 3 months they get the membership list. And what they do with that, I've never really looked at their mailing list, but I thought that they updated it every 3 months. So people should be receiving the reflector after a period of time, and they will receive it for at least a year. And they'll probably may even receive it after they don't pay anymore, possibly. Since I don't drop people until I really drop people, then they won't be on that list. Takes a while. Send a thank you letter to Dan for the donation, and that's it for the
Thank
month.
you, Mike. Vice President's report. Hey, Rodney. Oops. Sorry. Moved by your slide. Oh, you have to unmute, Rodney.
Yeah, I was on my way out there after work. I saw your email. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the billing, but Astor Park was mowed beautifully. They did weed whipped around the pads, and the lighthouse had been serviced. So I mean, everything's looking hunky dory out there. Everything's looking fancy. There is some a weed that almost looks like poison ivy right there around the lighthouse, behind it and on both sides. It's kind of like the only place it is, because I walked around and I checked. It looks like poison ivy, but it's not, unless somebody else runs their hand through it and gets a reaction. Then I'm immune to it. But yeah, so I mean, it looks like poison ivy, but it is of no concern. You find that
Well-
amusing?
Me, yes, because I know about poison ivy. I, I think it is poison ivy.
Really? I mean, it looks just like it, but I mean,
Oh, I think it is
I mean,
poison ivy.
it
I think
it
so
hasn't
too.
found out yet, but you think so?
Yeah. How
I'll
long
send
ago
you-
did you rub
Well, we
it?
prob-
I'll send you a picture of the leaf, Rodney. You can compare closely.
well, I know that, you know, poison ivy looks like I'm a plant guy, you know.
Oh, no, I think you.
But I
you
mean,
identified
instead,
it.
I mean, because I've pulled that stuff with my hands before too, and it doesn't faze me. All right, well, if it's poison ivy, then everybody else is going to be allergic to it, and we should do something about it. Worry about eradication, so somebody else doesn't get into it.
Hold that thought.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Maybe you've built up an immunity, Rodney, of all those years working with plants.
The way it works is you only got so many free tickets, and then you become super sensitive.
That's right.
really?
That happened to my father-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah, my brother-in-law, when it starts pollinating, he starts getting problems with the pollen. He got it that bad.
Yeah, you go from not allergic to super sensitive for the rest of your life. Don't touch
And my
it.
dad can't be within 100 yards of it, but he'll get it all over his body.
Oh.
Wow.
That's bizarre. I mean, because I've been pulling it for years. You know, I mean, it was behind this house that I used to like. And I was pulling it, and it was like, hey, that looks like poison ivy. It's like, well, it's not affecting me. But I did notice it smelled terrible, and because I was like, what is that smell on my hand? And it was like, oh, I just pulled that. It's like that actually smells like poop. You know, so.
I'm pretty allergic to poison ivy, and back in the days when we let our cats out, I would rub my cat, and then my arms would go crazy. And we found out the next door neighbor had poison ivy growing in their backyard. They thought it was a pretty plant, but it was
Yep.
Pretty in the fall when it turns red.
I bet. If it lives that long, if I ever see it, it won't.
I've got belladonna growing in the backyard, or deadly nightshade.
Oh.
Tomatoes.
They purple flowers just like a yellow flower tomato, and they got what they call the devil's cherries on it.
Hold those thoughts.
Don't
Thanks,
make
Rodney.
tea.
Old business tomorrow. Ground school, youth program, hopefully in the fall. Program chair. You heard me talk about that. So a note on the Alcon door prize of $200 will be through a High Point Scientific e-gift card that will be sent to them once we get their name and email address. I already talked to Chuck Allen and got him the relevant information as well.
Sounds great.
New business. Note, we intend to purchase brush killer for poison ivy. Hence why I said hold that thought.
Just in time.
Okay.
I have some I could donate.
Sweet. Thank you. That'll be that work day coming up. Or if you just happen to be out there with your scope early
Going
and you wanna
tomorrow.
hit a few. Okay. I'm bringing this up. The August meeting date conflicts with NSP, which would be the 6th of August. Thoughts?
We normally don't do it if it competes, so we can skip August.
Or
Do
we
we
delay
skip
it a
it?
week.
Or we delay it?
Or we delay it a week.
I think one year you actually paid people who wanted to go to the planetarium, because that used to be
Yeah.
my planetarium weekend.
We did do
I
that.
think one person or one family.
3
did that
people. I was
option.
one of them.
Couple of them.
Yep, I went with Mike and his buddy,
That was it.
and then we still went out and had dinner.
I think we did.
So what do you
Delaying
think?
it a week may be a good idea.
Okay. Is there a motion to delay the meeting a week?
Mike Mullany, a motion just to delay it a week.
Mike Motorson seconds.
Okay, so let me just check the dates here. It would be Friday the 13th.
Oh.
Which is a
Boogity,
Mahoney
boogity.
Star Party night already scheduled.
Oh no.
And it's the Perseid meteor shower, so says your calendar.
That's not good. I expect to go to that.
By the 20th.
Well, then it's like 2 weeks from the other meeting.
Yeah.
Do we have it
Well,
early?
wait
We
a
don't
minute.
normally do more than a week.
This is true.
Yeah.
Last Friday in July.
Yeah.
August.
Last Friday in July.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, something like that.
Well, that puts
We-
that'll be 4 weeks out from the July 2nd meeting.
Unless you got crazies like me, I used to go out on Friday night to the Star Part, or the Star Party.
There are people who do
Side,
leave
the
for
dark side, right, Tom?
Yeah, fine, eventually.
Sorry, Sonali.
I was going to say, I think Tom said that there are some people who leave that weekend or
Yes,
before.
that's
I don't know
true.
how many of them do that, but
Not too many, because when I'm out there, there's only maybe one other set of people out there, then a whole bunch of them from campers, local campers. I haven't seen too many out there. Maybe some from out of state, but that's about it.
Just you and me, Tom.
Yeah, eventually.
So we have a motion on the floor. Maybe we should vote that down.
I agree with that.
Okay, all in favor of rescinding the motion to move the meeting?
Aye.
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 Okay, all right. I got to get the rules down. So who pushed the motion forward first? Was that Cleet or Tom?
Mike Mulaney did.
Mike.
Mulaney.
And then Mike Moderson did the second. Let's see. Then Louis did a motion to strike it.
No, I didn't do a motion. I was making a comment.
Well, that could be used as a motion.
Oh, you can't make a motion when there's a motion on the table.
Oh.
Can we withdraw the motion?
Well,
we all voted to withdraw it, but
really, we should have voted on the motion, and everybody should have
voted no.
No.
People could have voted no at that time unless they actually wanted it to be on that second Friday. That's really how the
Parley Pro is so long ago.
Yeah, but we gotta follow the rules. It's important.
So bottom line, no, I did not make a motion.
Okay, so I would. I gotta choose my words carefully.
Can I withdraw my
Let's
motion?
call for a motion, call for a vote for the prior motion, and then move
Okay.
to the second.
So I will call a motion to vote to move the meeting, and then you guys answer appropriately. I can't put words in your mouth, okay? I cannot sway you.
The wind does that.
This is going to be a great recording, let me tell you. All
Thomas
those in
votes,
favor of moving the meeting 1 week in August, say aye.
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 What?
Oh, wait, you want in favor? Nay.
All
Eight.
we're doing the all those in favor, all those
All-
opposed to the meeting being moved 1 week, say nay.
Nay.
Is that a first?
Yeah, I
The
think
nay-
it
the
is.
nays have it.
So
Struck down. All right. My wife is writing the minutes. She's gonna love doing all this.
She's gonna pull her hair out.
That'll be a fun review next month.
Yes.
just make it sound good, Kelly.
They were confused.
But you have the recording evidence.
Okay. There's a strong possibility we will not be at UNO in August because we don't know what the rules of the campus will be as school goes back in session. As far as I remember reading earlier today, it was going to be strongly encourages people to get vaccinated. And if they are vaccinated, they don't have to wear masks.
That is
But if-
correct.
But if they are not vaccinated, they're asked to wear masks.
Yes.
Fall session does not have any specific rules around extracurricular individuals on campus. Is that correct?
Yes, however, as far as I know, you still need to ask permission and go through a whole big form thing for larger groups like ours.
Okay.
I would like to
But it
see
should be
that happen
possible.
for us.
Yes.
I would really like to see us at our earliest convenience get back in that
Space.
all that baggage to get back into the classroom again.
Absolutely.
And they have made it easier to do virtual. There's cameras and everything in there now.
Okay.
But yeah.
Maybe that's something the executive committee can work on
Yeah.
as a plan towards that.
Okay.
And then we can present it as we get more information. As for the
please?
August meeting, what's that, Cleet? I'm sorry.
Said, oh, pretty please.
Yes. Although I would be open if, and this is going to be an interesting thing, what if we got a reservation of one of the picnic things out at Mahoney?
Probably like on a Saturday.
That could be really cool.
Yeah. We'll think about that too. We'll try to put that together for August.
There's a cost for that, like with the.
Are you considering a Friday night or a Saturday noon kind of meeting?
A Saturday noon.
Yeah, I like that.
So do I, as long as they're not cutting the grass.
Because we've been out there a lot. Everybody, it's easy to get to. I could still do virtual through that. I've got ways of doing that. So
Is there going to be an issue with people who do not have park passes?
Have to get a day pass for $6 or whatever it is.
Or they could carpool and get 1 day pass, or carpool with somebody that's been to NSP that has an annual pass.
Or they can just virtual it, since John says he can do that still.
yes.
Don't cry, John. It's okay.
No, I'm just trying to think of possibilities, and I know that's a lot to do in one night. We still have an election to get through as well, but let me write it down.
You could also look at Elmwood Park
Oh, good
if you
point.
wanted something in town.
We could be the opening for Shakespeare on the Green.
Yeah.
There you
Or
go.
we could even try Zorinsky if that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
or
good.
Weeping Water on an afternoon.
I'm just thinking of parking at Weeping Water
Oh, it's true.
for everybody. Let's look at one of the parks in town, whether it be Elmwood or Zorinsky. Flanagan, they do have some stuff. It's not that big though. Hard to say. Bring a
What kind
chair.
of space is available at Lake Cunningham?
It's not open.
Walnut Creek Lake in Papillion has a couple shelters.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, Papillion's nice.
Okay. Those are some good ideas.
Yeah, Walnut
We've
Creek's
got
a nice
some
place.
we've got some time.
Weir's Band is nice too.
Spell it.
Are we talking the August
W.
meeting that's going to be on the usual first Friday?
WHER.
If this was going to be on a Saturday, we wouldn't have to worry about the Friday.
Except those of us going to NSP are leaving on Saturday.
Probably myself included.
You could do the Saturday afterward,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the 14th.
The 14th.
That way nobody worries about the black cats getting hurt.
Well, why don't we
Table.
table it for next month? We'll explore some options on that, and we'll have a better idea on next month. I know next month is, I was trying to do it so we'd know more before July. But I could even email everybody with the information too. Doesn't have to be specifically in the Stella. So,
Yep.
Okay, tabled. All right, we gotta do this election. So hang on with me here. Oop, that's the ballot. So the Mid-States region of the Astronomical League, which we are a member, has 2 positions that are open for voting. First position is secretary. The secretary shall record and preserve the minutes of the council, executive committee, and business meetings, and distribute these minutes within 60 days following said meetings to the council. He or she shall provide a summary of the council and business meetings in the next edition of the league publication and shall make additional copies of the minutes available to members of the league upon request. She shall provide each member of the council the annual meeting with a notebook containing the current bylaws and each standing resolution of the league, provide annual inserts updating the standing resolutions and including minutes of all meetings in the previous year for new council members. She shall issue notices of council in executive committee meetings. Treasurer. Treasurer shall receive all dues and other money due the league and shall keep proper books of account of all monetary transactions. She shall place the funds in a repository approved by the council and shall present an account of her transaction as treasurer and of the financial condition of the league to the council and or the president whenever they may require it, but at least annually. She may be bonded under conditions prescribed by the council. She shall maintain an accurate and up-to-date inventory of all league properties. The treasurer will annually prepare the IRS Form 990 in time to meet the required IRS deadline. So now you know the 2 positions. Let's get to know the candidates, shall we? Terry Mann is the candidate for secretary of the Astronomical League. I said miserable, didn't I? I meant Astronomical League. I apologize. I am currently secretary of the Astronomical League and have past service as league president, vice president, secretary. I also serve as chair of the Great Lakes region and as league trustee. I co-chaired Alcon 2011 at Bryce Canyon National Park and received the GR Wright Service Award in 2004. I also received the Great Lakes region's Hans Baldauf Award for contributions to astronomy in 2007. Serving as secretary during the past year, I again have this pleasure of working with friends and I've known for years of making new friends. I'm trying to go fast. I've worked very hard with the league, developed its starting virtual presence, working closely with Scott Roberts of Explore Scientific. Starting in December 2020, Scott and I have co-hosted monthly league live events that feature speakers, night sky imaging, and talks on league events, awards, and observing programs. Over 6 months, I have also coordinated the league's regular weekly participation in Explore Scientific's widely viewed global star parties. This August, I will be co-chairing the Alcon 2021 virtual along with Chuck Allen. As we emerge from this pandemic, I believe it is vital for us to continue using the virtual tools and skills we have developed in the past to have an increased presence with our members and continue to bring online experience to the public. As we look ahead, I want to see the league continue its efforts to be accessible to people with disabilities, to become more gender and ethnically diverse, and to attract youth and international members. And then William C. Dillon is the candidate for Astronomical League treasurer. His first experience with amateur astronomy came under the tutelage of a very patient uncle at the tender age of 8. While living in the suburbs of Philadelphia, his homemade 6-inch refractor opened the night sky for me, and I was hooked. Many years and 3 telescopes later, and spending better part of my life giving loan to the heavily light polluted skies of Philadelphia, New York City, Chicago, Atlanta, Northern Virginia. The night sky was open to me and my wife when I retired and moved to Southwest Virginia near Roanoke. My favorite observing location is my backyard, and the sky, compared to anywhere else I have lived, is actually dark. My credentials as position of treasurer include the bachelor's degree in accounting from Villanova University, master's degree in finance from DePaul University, and 42 years of practical accounting and financial management experience with, among others, Macy's, Target, and U.S. Marine Corps. Since I retired, to continue to stay involved in my community by serving in several volunteer positions, including chairman of the Church Pastoral Council and as treasurer of the board of directors of a nursing home in Roanoke. It's been my honor and privilege to have served as Astronomical League as treasurer since September 2018, and I ask for your support to continue serving in the position of treasurer for another 3-year term. All right, there are no other candidates. So
I guess we're voting.
It's going to be a hard decision, right?
yes. So this is I'm going to make this easy on you. I want you to unmute and say aye if we're going to vote both positions in, because there are no other candidates.
Tom Wilson, aye.
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 Aye. Nina Baker, aye.
Thank you. All opposed. No votes.
The dog.
The dog.
Just one nay.
Sorry.
He was. I think that's a write-in for Roof.
Yeah,
More of a rough than a nay.
Yes. All right. So I get to fill out the ballot and get that back to them, so you guys don't have to worry about that.
Don't you want me to do it?
Yes, the treasurer will do that. Thank you. I'm trying to hurry. I apologize.
You want to get out in the dark?
Yeah. So next meeting is July 2nd. Same bat time, same bat channel. We have a motion to adjourn the business meeting.
This is Tom Wilson. I motion to adjourn the business meeting.
Rodney Bardoff,
This is Krista
second.
Teston, I second.
Rodney beat you.
Oh.
Right in the wrong place. Okay, and a motion has been made to adjourn the business meeting. All those in favor say aye.
I
All
feel like that
opposed?
slide's a little presumptuous.
Oh. All opposed say nay. And you'll be running the Zoom next month. There we go. I just knocked my stuff down, so that's about as good of the night as things go, right?
I agree.
Share. Stop recording.